Welcome to the court. I'm its Jester. Hello! So I've been thinking, since we last left off, about how at the end the storyteller said that Shogo had only killed one person, even though I remember us killing like a way more than that. And I think that in the beginning we did accidentally kill Yoko, but everything after we picked up the charm was something else possessing him to commit those murders. Because he seemed to get like really on board with murder real quick. Oh god. Oh, a cheeseburger. Something's happening to Yoko. Whoa! What the hell? Feels like the air just changed. Hey, Yoko. Yeah, I know. Something's behind us. Yoko, are you okay? What's wrong? Stay with me. I feel eyes on my back. I can't move. Is there something behind me? She's just screaming. Yoko, it's no use. She's in no condition to talk. Keep yelling her name. Huh? What? Is calling her name really going to help? I'm already yelling as hard as I can. Shouldn't I look for what's causing this? If we turn our back on her, she's gonna use her curse stone to try and kill us, and somehow that ended up backfiring on her instead. There's nothing there. Yoko, hang in there, Yoko. Look at me. You're going to be okay. It's all right. There's nothing there. Huh? Ah! Yoko! Yoko? New timeline unlocked! Huh? Oh, good, you're awake. What? Are you okay? You were so rattled and confused. I thought you really lost it. Do you feel dizzy? Have a headache? Are your humors off balance? Wait, what did you say? I think I've heard that before. You're the one who said it earlier. Oh, right. That must have been it. My humors were off balance. What, back there? You ended up like that because of your humors? Yeah, I've heard that at this age, your humors being even a little off can be fatal. I'm glad you're back to normal now. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause you so much trouble. But I really don't remember what happened. Oh, she knows what happened. She's playing dumb. She's in on it. I don't trust her. It's gonna be June all over again. June really did give me all the trust issues for death games. Sounds like what happened to me. Maybe this place is dangerous somehow. What? Are you backing out? Yeah, it just doesn't feel safe to me, and I'm worried about you. Let's call off today's investigation. Come on. I just started feeling back to normal, too. Nope, not happening. Go home. I'll even pay your cab fare, okay? I ended up having to force a still protesting Yoko into a taxi. Even then, she still wouldn't stop complaining. So, to placate her, I'd promised I'd search the park on my own a little while longer. It's 5 a.m. My guy! Dude, go home. Go to sleep. In further news... Oh, shit! Before dawn today, a police officer on patrol discovered a man collapsed in a Sumida City park. The man was taken to the hospital, but his death was confirmed shortly after. Investigations are still underway, but police suspect a connection to the other unexplained deaths found in the area at around the same time. Shit! Why are the credits rolling? The fuck? Excuse me? Excuse me? We're not done here! We're not done here! Stop rolling! Bring me to the storyteller! I want to have a word with them! You! Well done in your efforts thus far. This brings Shogo Oki's story to a close. But this is not the end, far from it. In fact, this is where the story finally begins. The routes of the three protagonists have now been unlocked. What?! Haru Shigema, a woman who lost her son when he was kidnapped and murdered. Tetsuo Tsumi, the chief inspector of the 1st Investigation Division, who is looking into the death of an officer in the line of duty. Yako Sakazaki, a high school girl who wants to bring her friend back from the dead, a girl who died in a suspicious suicide. Each of them is burdened with circumstances that leave them no choice but to seek the right of resurrection. Following these three storylines will reveal the full nature of all that is occurring. With that, please enjoy the continuation of this tale. Oh, shit. Shogo was a decoy protagonist this whole time? Okay then. Okay. Let's start with her. Haruhi. When the son of Haru Shigema was kidnapped, a botched investigation by the police resulted in the child's murder. 1 year later, Haruhi has hired a private investigator to help resolve the unsettled case. Late at night, while speaking to the detective at her home, something strange suddenly appears. May those who mock fire's flame perish in the flame! Kill them. Kill them! The flame bearers. Kill them all! You have acquired the power of the curse stone, the haunting clappers. You can use it to kill those with fire or fire a starting device on the person. As the evening bell rings in Iricho near present-day Shinada, a night watchman patrols. But tonight the sound of another stepping Lancers answers streets announces his presence by shouting warnings of fires, all while striking his wooden clappers. But tonight the sound of another set of clappers answers back. He curiously claps his clappers together, clack, clack. The echo answers again, but no matter how hard he searches for the source of this second pair of clappers, he never finds it. Some say it was the work of a mischievous tanuki or kitsune, while others say it was a warning. Kills by burning one who is in possession of fire or fire starting fire. A resentful memory. Red, red, red. Everything is dyed crimson. My home is burning into the ground. It's hot. So, so hot. I must call for help, but I cannot speak. My throat must be burned up from the smoke. No, I think I'm already on fire. That's right. I'll just use the clappers. Clack, clack. Is anybody there? Clack, clack. Why is no one coming? I'm going to burn to death. How did it come to this? Oh, right, her. It must be the work of that vixen who appeared suddenly and enchanted my lord. That witch. Those hauntingly cold eyes had my lord dancing in the palm of her hand. Perhaps I was also taken in by her. How many innocent people did I lure in under orders? This must be karma. The sound of a heavy bell. It feels like my head will split open. Ah, right, the evening bell. That must be why nobody can hear the sound of my clappers. I've got to do it louder. Clack, clack. A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. I feel like we skipped ahead. Now. Kill. Can you hear it, curse bearer? You who strongly desires the right? Kill them. I feel like we skipped something. Can we go back to an earlier time? Is there anything? No, it's literally just... That's the start of it? That is... I really thought we would be like, see how she picked up the curse stone. I guess we're just jumping straight to murder. Back with me, ma'am? Can't say I understand what just happened. Yeah, me either, buddy. But it certainly seems to have put you in a good mood. This might be the first time I've ever seen you really smile. Sweet dreams. Haruhi Shigema, female, housewife, curse echo the haunting clappers. Haruhi is a housewife who resides in a manor near Shumako Bridge. Her 11-year-old son Shuichi was kidnapped and murdered about a year ago. The death was the result of a mistake on the part of the detective assigned to the case, a mistake which enraged the kidnapper and had him cut off all contact with the police, leaving no room for negotiation. The incident was covered up and Shuichi's killer remains at large, leading to an aggrieved Haruhi to call on the services of a private investigator, Richard Kai, to uncover the truth. The Shigema family came from a line of samurai who built their residence in the Honjo during the Edo period. They assumed important positions in the police force following the Meiji Revolution, then thereby protecting their family's elevated status. Even today, many in the Shigema line of work as police bureaucrats and senior police officers. Haruhi's father sits in the upper-class echelons of National Police Agency, and her husband, adopted into the Shigeme clan through an arranged marriage, is also a highly respected agency official. However, her family prioritizes work above all else. It wasn't long before Haruhi's marriage grew cold. Though she wants for nothing, she is isolated from her neighbors and withdrawn from society. Seeing her son grow into a young man gave Haruhi a purpose in life, but it was cut short by the kidnapping incident. Following the incident, Haruhi spent many days in a deep depression, breaking into sudden fits of shouting and wandering around in the middle of the night. Her cheerful, loving disposition faded away, and she took to making snide remarks at her husband, which only further soured their relationship. A few months ago, Haruhi's husband was transferred to another area for work and now rarely returns home, with Haruhi left to live in a large, empty mansion alone. As a housekeeper who has been with the family for a long time comes in to take care of all the housework, Haruhi has nothing but time on her hands. Private investigator. No. Not dreams. Sounds like something I might want to hear about. Let me bring you up to speed. We were in the middle of a chat when you suddenly started spacing out. And the whole time you were grinning to yourself like you just won the lottery. Care to tell me what that was all about? Well, where to start? Interesting. Very interesting. So the haunting clapper's curse echo appeared out of nowhere, told you how to perform the rite of resurrection, and gave you the curse you'll need to do it. Have I got that right? That's right. So it's all real. Honestly, I still find it hard to believe. But I guess I have to now. I saw that curse stone appear in my hand myself. It looked like it popped clean out of thin air. With evidence that clear, there's no denying that there's some supernatural force at work. I don't think you quite understand. Oh? This isn't about evidence, and it isn't about belief. It's more than that. I know it's real. The moment the curse appeared, I knew everything before it even said a word. It was already there in my head, as clear as day. You just knew, huh? It was etched onto my soul, along with the curse echo's resentful memories. So I can feel it, what it was like. Dying like they did, hundreds of years ago. Wreathed in flame, writhing in pain as my flesh blackens and my blood boils. I can feel it. All the agony, all the rage. It fills me with bloodlust. I think I need to kill someone. Anyone will do, just as long as they're carrying fire. I see. That could be a problem. You think so? From what I know of you, I'm sure you'd see it as an opportunity. The stronger the desire to resurrect someone, the stronger the urge to kill. That's how it seems to me, anyway. Good grief, talk about a spanner in the works. I say we take stock for a moment, remind ourselves where we've come from and where we're going. Are you really sure you want to commit murder tonight? That might be a good idea. My heart's still racing. This is it, my chance, at long last. About the investigation. That's what you hired me for, ma'am. To look into your son's kidnapping last year. To uncover the truth behind the abduction and murder of Shuichi Shigema. Oh yes, I remember. They never did find the one who did it. That's what I'm here about today, in fact. Kind of you to let me drop by so late, by the way. I've been turning over every last stone, and I've come up with a grand total of 1 lead. So you said. As far as the police are concerned, it's a cold case, but I've managed to make some headway. I remember. You were just about to tell me. The Shigema kidnapping. A kidnapping and murder case that took place in Honjo, Sumida around 1 year ago. Haruhi Shigema's son, Shuichi, age 11, was kidnapped on his way home from school, with a ransom being demanded that same evening. Initially, the kidnapping was thought of as a simple extortion scheme, but when it came to light that the Shigema family was closely tied to the police, and Shuichi was in fact the grandson of a senior official, it was quickly assumed that the perpetrator was acting upon a grudge against the police force. The kidnapping was treated as a direct attack against the good name of the police, and a large-scale investigation was launched that used the best equipment available to trace phone calls. That made it all the more embarrassing when they were unable to catch the culprit, losing the public's confidence. The culprit grew cocky, relentlessly mocking the police force. After 3 days of failure after failure, Haruhi reached a breaking point. Spurred by concern for her son, she resolved to hand over the ransom money as fast as possible. But her husband and father, who held the prestige of the police in high regard, refused, saying they would not let the criminal win by giving in to their demands. The increasingly frantic detective assigned to the case lost his temper when the criminal began to give an ultimatum, causing the culprit to never make contact again. Another week passed, and Shuichi's body was found floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi's death could largely be ascribed to the police's incompetence, but this was ultimately covered up with stringent media embargoes. The investigation was never closed, but the case has long gone cold. Shuichi Shigema, elementary school student. The only son of Haruhi Shigema, he was kidnapped and murdered 1 year ago. His body was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Shuichi was a conscientious, brave young boy who was determined to protect his mother, Haruhi, amid his father's frequent absences. He dreamed of becoming a police officer and displayed diligence and an impressive sense of responsibility from a young age, likely due to being raised in an extremely strict environment. Born in the early 70s, he spent his days immersed in various activities and studies, including playing piano, learning the abacus, and taking English lessons and training in kendo. Shuichi's tendency to put other people's needs above his own meant he died without ever telling his classmates how much he longed for them to all go out on a hunt for mockingbird stickers. About the investigation. You know, we still need to figure out what exactly you want me to do. Tell you what, why don't I tell you what I found, and then we can make a decision. All right. About the kidnapping. I suppose there's not much point in going over the kidnapping itself. No, I'm very familiar. Then I'll leave that for the files to cover and just confirm a few things about the case. The police traced the culprit's calls back to, let's see here, Northern Oyako River, here in Sumida City. That's quite a wide area. That's right. In the end, they never managed to nail down exactly where the calls were coming from. But it was almost certainly the same location that Shuichi was being held captive. Since Shuichi's voice could be heard during the killer's calls. Northern Oyako River is quite a difference from Shuichi's normal school commute. Factoring in that he was seen at school but went missing before he arrived at his house, it's likely that he was abducted by car on his route home. Why would you let the little boy walk home alone? I know that, like, culturally, it's different in Japan. Like, you let the children wander. But, like, my mom got upset if I played in the front yard. Like, I had to stay in the backyard because she didn't want me, when I was a kid, my mom didn't want me in our front yard because she was worried about how easy it would be for someone to scoop up and grab me. I had to play in the backyard only. So when I'm like an exclusively backyard child and then I'm hearing about kids walking home from school, it's like, what the shit? Was my mom a helicopter parent? Maybe. Did I get kidnapped and murdered? No! Exactly. Shuichi was a clever boy. He never would have gotten into the car with a stranger. That's right. I was very firm about that. I know he understood that too. I even saw him warning other children. It's possible that they forced him into the car. The only issue there is, there weren't any witnesses to the kidnapping. You can't bundle someone in a car without that many students around and not be noticed. But nobody came forward to say they saw anything suspicious. So did they target him at some other time or somewhere away from his usual route? Both of those seem a little far-fetched. My money is it was a teacher. My money is the kidnapper was either a teacher or the parent of another student. Someone that Shuichi would trust enough to get in the car with. Which raises the question, how did the kidnapper pull it off? The police never managed to find an answer. In the end, they decided that the kidnapper must have just gotten lucky. Well, why not turn the problem on its head? The kidnapper managed to convince Shuichi to get into their car. But how? The only thing that makes sense to me is if they were somebody that he would have had a reason to trust. A teacher, perhaps, or a relative, or somebody else that he knew. But all of the adults Shuichi knew had alibis. The police checked them all thoroughly. They did, huh? No one throws numbers at a problem like the cops. But what if it wasn't somebody he knew? Or rather, what if the culprit disguised themselves as a police officer? That would explain why he didn't find them suspicious. The Shigema family has close ties with the police after all. He would have had a reason to trust them. You might be right, but surely that couldn't have... Well, there's a problem with the theory. You'd be surprised how much police officers stand out. That's sort of the point after all. They're meant to be a visible deterrent against crime. But here's another interesting bit of trivia I happen to know. When you ask people to imagine someone suspicious, nobody pictures women or children. Even kids who have been warned about stranger danger often subconsciously expect that danger to look like an adult man. Besides, Shuichi was the sort of boy who wanted to be a police officer when he grew up. He must have had a very strong sense of right and wrong. That's right. Wait, surely you can't mean... Now you're getting it. If I say a young woman approached Shuichi asking for help, what would he have done? If someone like that said they were lost and asked him for directions, would he have gotten into the car? He might have. My husband always told him that a man had a duty to watch out for women and children. You could certainly argue that that kind of attitude is outdated nowadays. But if Shuichi believed it, then we might have something there. Then you think the culprit was a young woman? But it was a man's voice on the phone. She might have been an accomplice, or maybe she didn't even realize she was being used. If anything, that would explain why she hasn't come forward. She herself might not realize she had anything to do with the case. So the question is, did anybody see Shuichi speaking with a young woman on the day of his disappearance? See what I said about people's biases? That goes for witnesses too. And I figured that maybe if I started asking some new questions, I might get some new answers. So I spent my day asking around Shuichi's school route, seeing if anyone had seen something. And one man thought he had. Do you mean he saw it happen? Well, I can't say for sure yet. It turned out he wanted something from me, so he asked if we could talk in private. Several hours earlier. All right, this should do. There's no one around. We can speak in confidence. Excuse me. What was your name again? Janouchi. Got it. Well, Janouchi, I'm all ears. Just so we're on the same page. You're a private detective investigating Shuichi Shigema's kidnapping. Do I have that right? Of course. What else do I look like? Well, according to the chat, a JoJo character. How should I know what a private detective looks like? Oh, forget it. Look, I'll tell you straight. My life is in danger. I need your help. You'll excuse me if that caught me a little off guard. Let me ask you straight. Who is trying to kill you? A student called Michio Shirashi. Interesting. A schoolgirl, eh? Sounds like you've been naughty. It's nothing like that. That girl, she's a murderer. I'm the only one who knows, but I saw what she did. Michio Shirashi. I saw her kidnap Shuichi Shigema. Come again? I saw her talk to him on the street and lead him away. I didn't think much of it at the time, but then he went missing. She murdered him. I'm sure of it. Or at least she's got something to do with it. That's what you're here for, isn't it? Then you can't let her get to me. If that's true, you've been sitting on some valuable information. Why didn't you tell anybody? Well, you see, if you can't explain that, I don't have any reason to believe you. I couldn't! She told me she'd kill me if I spoke a word! Dude, what are you talking about? You're telling me a schoolgirl had you scared for your life. Hey, teenagers scare the living shit out of me. I once had a friend who told me that if he had to choose between fighting a guy twice his size and fighting a small woman, he would choose the guy twice his size every time, because you never know what a small woman will pull out of her purse. We have mace, we have pocket knives, we have tasers, sometimes we have guns. You do not want to risk, like he said, that when you're in a fight with a man, you know it's just gonna be fists, but if you're in a fight with a woman, she's gonna pull out a weapon. Every goddamn time. So you've been sitting on that all this time, and you think she's coming for you now that you've spilled the beans? Yes, that's it exactly. I'm begging you, don't let her get me. Arrest her! I'm telling you, she's a demon! Well, you seem to believe what you're saying, but it just doesn't add up. How could a schoolgirl have a fully grown man so terrified? You don't know what she can do. She'll curse me. Curse you? I'm sorry, you're losing me here. It's true. Her house, forget it. Why do I even bother? You seem dubious enough to believe me, but I should have known you'd never understand. Enough. I'll find someone else to help me. Hey! Huh. And that's about the long and short of it. I can hardly believe it. At the time, I thought his mention of curses was just crazy talk, but I'm starting to see that there might have been more to it. Then if we can just find that girl. Curse or no curse, if she was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping, then there's a good chance she knows something. On top of that, I did some digging on the man I spoke to. His full name's Kohei Jonichi. He's a teacher at Komada High School here in Sumida. A teacher? Then this schoolgirl is one of his students? I think that's very likely. At last, we've got a lead. Hopefully, it will be the breakthrough we're looking for. About the rite of resurrection. The rite of resurrection, huh? I read about that in an occult magazine the other day. Apparently, some old book showed up recently with all the gory details. And they say that the rite can be found somewhere in Honjo. I remember the first time you told me about that. It felt like my prayers had been heard. Like I had hope, real hope, for the first time. Ever since that awful day, I've wondered. What if I hadn't sent him to school? What if I just paid the ransom? Not a day goes by that I don't think I'd done something differently. Shuichi would still be alive. You can't blame yourself, ma'am. It was the culprit's fault, not yours. Though I know that won't help any. Grief is funny like that. I'm guessing that's why you're after the rite. Guess I didn't need to ask. It's written all over your face. I can tell how much he meant to you. But, and this is a big but, if this rite is the real deal, using it will mean killing someone and stealing their soul. Is that a problem? If it comes to that, I'm afraid I'll have to stop you. Oh, that's a shame. A shame, huh? That's all? I thought if I'm going to be competing with other curse bearers, then your detective skills might come in useful. You realize you're talking about ending someone's life, right? Don't you see an issue with that? I think any parent in my position would happily kill for a chance like this. Is that so? Dear, oh dear, what have I gotten myself into? If it makes you uncomfortable, then you won't have to get any blood on your hands yourself. I don't need you to kill the other curse bearers. I only need you to find them. I won't play party to murder, ma'am. Not even for a client. Okay, well, with, Shogo, you clearly did. You asked him if he had a lighter on him. You found out he was carrying a lighter. You sicked this woman on him at the fucking garden. Granted, Shogo had murdered a lot of people prior to that, so honestly, fair game. I'll pay you. How much can I give you to change your mind? Sorry, ma'am, but not everyone has a price. I've got my policies, and I stick to them. I see. I didn't realize you were so stubborn. Let me say, though, it's not like I don't get what you're going through. As long as you're not killing anyone with your own hands, maybe I can help you out. What do you have in mind? Well, how about stealing someone else's curse stone after they've filled it with soul dreg? If that was all you were after, then I could lend you my services guilt-free. If the other curse bearers want to kill each other, that's their business. I'm not trying to be a hero here. I guess there's no guarantee a stolen curse stone will work, but we can worry about it later. Well then, I suppose we have a deal. Although, what if I stole a curse stone using my curse? Would you disapprove? That would void our contract, ma'am. Just warning you now. My. About my curse. Before we go any further, why don't you tell me about that curse of yours? The haunting clappers, was it? That's one of the 7 mysteries of Hanjo, if I remember correctly. That's right. The original story did happen somewhere near here, I think. I'm sure I remember hearing that. In that case, my money would be all on the curse bearers being somewhere in Hanjo. Our first move should be to narrow them down. Some of them are bound to try and come for you first. We'll need to be ready. The curse will make their bearers more willing to kill, so an attack could come from anywhere. That sounds sensible. Honestly, for her curse, the best strategy would be... Hello! Okay, so with her curse bearer, she can kill anyone who's holding something you can use to start a fire. So if they're holding matches, a lighter, those special stones, then she can kill them. So what she should do... Oh, Paranormasight! We're in a death game, and I have a ghost that I can use to kill other people, and if I collect enough of their spirits, then I can help this woman bring her son back from the dead. She's got a detective she's hiring to help her, so let's see how that goes. So I think the best strategy would be if she just goes out and buys a bunch of lighters, and then she finds someone she wants to kill for their soul. Just throw the lighter at them, and when they on reflex catch the lighter, then you can kill them. This only works if they have a lighter or matches on them. This is kind of bad. Shogo's power was better. And if I remember correctly, your haunting clappers can set people on fire, but only if they have a naked flame or a lighter on their person. Is that right? That's right. In olden times, wooden clappers were used to warn people of fire. I'm guessing it punishes those who don't heed the warning. It seems like a good curse to have. It's simple and straightforward enough to use. Although, it's hard to say how it stacks up without knowing what else is on the table. You really think it's that good? The target can't do much to throw it off, and it has a nice long activation window. It's big that it works on lighters too. Just slip one in your target's pocket. And say that the condition were already fulfilled before they even knew you're there. They wouldn't even know what hit them. Maybe. I won't actually have to use it. I could just tell someone I could, and they'd have to do what I said. Threats could work, although without any proof, it'll come down to how convincing you can be. If only you could use the curse, then back out at the last second. At the last second? What an interesting idea. If I have a lighter right here, we could try it now. That's an interesting proposition. Okay, dude, lady, Harley, this guy is your only ally. Do not kill him. But maybe not. I'm not crazy enough to make myself a guinea pig. Oh, I see. You're an odd one, ma'am, if you don't mind me saying, and I don't think it's just the curse. You flatterer. Are you gonna cheat on your husband with this guy? I mean, where is your husband? When's the last time you saw your husband? He moved. Your husband literally moved. You're basically separated. As for what we do next, first of all, I think you should stay indoors. Try not to do anything spontaneous or outside of your normal routine. Right then. Have you decided what you want me working on? We can either have him help us with the rite or investigate the kidnapping. Oh my god. Investigate the kidnapping. Finally I have a lead. I need to know what happened to my son. Your wish is my command, ma'am. I'll focus my efforts on looking into the kidnapping. Although something just occurred to me. You can't investigate the matter at night, can you? At least until the sun rises. Could you search for the other curse bearers? All right. I see how it is. Well, I'd be happy to help. Odds are good that the other curse bearers are also working by night. Anyone they kill under the cover of darkness won't be discovered until sunrise. I bet they're trying to do as much as they can before the morning comes. So it's settled then. I'll look into the other curse bearers by night. And once the city wakes up and I can start asking questions, I'll investigate the kidnapping as well. I'll even try and find Miss Shirashi as part of the bargain. Thank you. That's more than enough. So what are we doing here? A color television. Father bought one as soon as it hit the market. He likes to have the latest gadgets. Unlike the latest models, there's no remote control. We've had it a long time. Back when it was new, we all gathered around it and marveled at it as a family. But with my father and husband being away so often, it quickly fell into disuse. I just don't know. What's this? Well, I'll be damned. Is that what I think it is? Goodness, you made me jump. It's just a silly little sticker my son got from somewhere or another. He put it up just before. Well, you know what happened. I still can't bring myself to take it down. Let me take a closer look. I knew it. It's Head Hensho from way back in set number 1. This is a real collector's item. Excuse me? Don't tell me you've never heard of the Mockingbirds. The what? They're the hottest new craze. Cute little birds dressed up like rough and tumble delinquents. I've never heard of them, But this certainly seems to matter to you. The best part is nobody knows who made them. They just started showing up around town, and soon enough they won everybody's hearts. The story goes that they're made by some anonymous artist who covertly leaves them behind in specific locations. No one knows when or where they'll show up next. They're basically an urban legend of sorts. To think they would turn up here of all places. This is a good sign, I'm sure of it. Oh well. That's nice. We can collect... Oh, look at how cute it is. He's got a little jacket on and little sunglasses. Okay, new objective. Forget the murder game. We have to focus on collecting all these cute little delinquent chicken stickers. I don't know what's left for us to do. A fax machine, it can send images to other places along the telephone network. I don't really know how it works. Most houses don't have one. I rarely have a use for it. The telephone. The mansion has a private line. A private investigator I hired, a friend told me about him. They said it's not very well known, but he's good at what he does. When I first visited his office in Ota City and saw how he was dressed, I could barely believe he was a detective. But after talking to him for a while, I changed my mind. He says some strange things at times, but he seems like the reliable source. The eccentric man that Shogo Oki ran into at Honjo Bridge, Reichiro is actually a private investigator with an office in Ota City, Tokyo. After taking on a request from Haru Ishigama to investigate the unsolved kidnapping and murder of her son, he gets caught up in the events surrounding the rite of resurrection. Once a police officer, Reichiro was racked with guilt over the police's inability to help all those in need and quit the force to start his own private investigation firm. However, his soft-hearted nature leads him to take on too many cases and has put his office in dire financial straits. How he is still in business is a mystery, with some whispering that a wealthy patron is keeping him afloat. Reichiro studied along Detective Jun Irio at the police academy. Somewhat surprisingly, given his outlandish clothing and mannerism, Reichiro excels at covert investigations and tailing his target. He proudly refers to himself as an investigator extraordinaire, though that only ever succeeds at impressing himself. Reichiro's biggest source of happiness is nuzzling his pet female albino parakeet, Ernstein, which he keeps in his office. He also enjoys collecting mockingbird stickers, a popular line of merchandise featuring birds inexplicably dressed like delinquents, and can be frequently sighted searching around the city for them. While out and about, Reichiro typically leaves the office, and more importantly, Ernstein, in the care of Amorori, a junior high schooler who volunteered to assist Reichiro after being involved in a previous case. His agency. Okay, was that the last update we needed? We good? Can time pass? Now then. I should get to work. There's only so much time before sunrise. I'll call you if I find anything new. You stay here and keep a lookout. All right. There's no telling what kinds of curses you might find out on the streets tonight. Don't go outside if you can help it. And try to be ready for anything. I will. Well, if that's all, I should be going. Despite having obtained the search of the haunting clappers, Haru Ishigama is determined to use the rite of resurrection by stealing the remaining curse stone. She instructs her private investigator Reichiro to find the other curse bearers. It's been almost an hour since Reichiro left. He promised he'd call me if anything happened. But he hasn't. So all I can do is wait. And wait. What's this? A newspaper? It must have fallen off the chair. It's a newspaper. I only leave them in here for the guests. I hardly ever read them myself. I don't think I've taken the time to go over one in years, in fact. Well, it's not like I have anything better to do. Look at the society articles. Looks like the city's biggest problem right now is pollution. I remember how air and water used to be even more polluted. The river was covered in scum from all the sewage and industrial waste, and it stank so badly it'd make my eyes water. Eventually, people started getting sick, and it couldn't be ignored anymore. Fortunately, it's gotten better since then, though the air around the industrial district is still filthy with gas and smog. Read the cultural articles. Now everyone has been spending more money to go around. People are coming up with all kinds of new diversions. It seems like only yesterday people were flocking to arcades to shoot aliens, but now we've got these enormous theme parks and gaming machines that plug straight into our televisions. Everyone's talking about superhero series and foreign films and movies based on the latest bestseller. Back in my day, fusion rock and folk music was all the rage, but now it's all about city pop and idols. I find it hard to care about that sort of thing anymore. Everyone attends high school now, even girls' universal education policy, they call it. The country's gotten rich enough that every child can go to school. Education is the backbone of modern society. If you want to work for a good company, you have to get into a good university. With more people running than ever, the competition to get into those universities has gotten fierce, though. With the new generation is rebelling, schoolyard violence and delinquency are on the rise. But my boy was too sensible to get mixed up in any of that. I don't want to read anymore. It'll only remind me of him. I know it's dangerous to go out, but I can't just sit here and let this opportunity pass me by. I have to look for her, for Michio Shirashi. But first, I need to find more soul dregs. Are we just gonna leave? I have to distract myself somehow. Maybe reading the newspaper will take my mind off things. Look at the television articles. I don't really watch television. It feels as if all this information in the world gets passed back to that little black box, but Father stopped them from reporting on the kidnapping back when it happened. I was glad about that. Less fuss. Now the comedy boom is over and all the comedians are flocking to other genres. The occult seems really popular at the moment. Look at all these paranormal specials. I hear the new big thing is some mascot line of delinquent birds. Mockingbirds, I think it's called. What was that Richard was talking about? Trends seem to have such short-lived lives now, with how quickly the times are changing. I think I'm just too old to keep up anymore. It's young people who are leading the way with their modern worldviews. My generation will only fall further behind. All sorts of articles about the current state of the economy. Now that the post-war boom has passed its peak, we're moving into an era of large corporations. It's about 220 to 230 yen to the dollar. Manufacturing is on the rise and exports are healthy. The dollar's down from its height, and people are saying it could fall further. There's no denying how much the standard of living has improved in the past few years. It's common to own a car and television now, and supermarkets are better stocked than ever. Although with everyone flocking to the city, land prices are skyrocketing. The city center's going to be nothing but apartments before long. I'm not exactly a businesswoman, so this all feels like another world to me. If there's one thing Honjo never wants for, it's horrific crimes. They found a police officer dead in the local park just the other day. A lot of my family are in the police. I hope it wasn't anybody I knew. I don't read the news anymore, not since last year. It brings back bad memories. Suicide at local high school? Oh, I remember that. A high school girl jumped off the roof about a week ago. She was bullied, I think. Or maybe it was something about exam pressure. What? But, no, this can't be right. Her name. Michio Shirashi from Komagata High School? It can't be. Michio Shirashi, the same girl who witnessed my son's kidnapping, committed suicide last week? But that means Mr. Jonachi was terrified of someone who already died. Is that what he meant by a curse? I can't work this out on my own. Maybe Reicher will know. Why won't he call? Oh, I haven't left it off the hook, have I? I'm waiting for Reicher to contact me, but he hasn't. I've made sure the receiver is on the hook. It'll ring as soon as he calls. Ah! It must be him. Hello? Shigema residence. Oh, it's 2 a.m. No one in this game sleeps. Reicher called me out to meet him at the bridge, and we came here. Reicher, there's something I need to tell you. Funny, I was just thinking the same thing. I'll go first. There's something I need to tell you. What's up? Well, that girl, Michio Shirashi. The one who was with Shuichi on the day of the kidnapping? That's her. Well, she's dead. She's what? The student who committed suicide last week. That was her. I heard something like that had happened. Never got the name, though. Talk about bad luck. We finally got a lead, only to find it's turned into a literal dead end. Unless her death was the whole reason Janachi was shaken up. He said she was going to curse him. Was he talking about her taking revenge from beyond the grave? It seems like we're back where we started. Not necessarily. That teacher knows something. I'm sure of it. At the very least, I'll put money on him having something to do with Miss Shirashi's death. That's why he's so scared of being cursed by her. I see. And also, something tells me he knows more about your son's kidnapping. In any case, I think I've got a good idea of what he's hiding. Call it a hunch. A hunch? Well, more of a theory. Care to take a guess? I can guess. I can't say for certain, but... Mr. Janouchi silenced Michio Shirashi with blackmail. What if Mr. Joichi silenced Michio Shirashi with blackmail? What do you think? Exactly my thinking. Oh, we are so good at this! Joichi knew about Miss Shirashi's connection to the kidnapping, and he used that to blackmail her into doing his bidding. He made her feel so trapped, she took her own life to escape. That's my read on it. How despicable. Well, it's just a theory. Right now, we need to have another chat with Mr. Janouchi. Please, go ahead. All right, then. I've been poking around places connected to the 7 mysteries looking for curse bearers, and I think I found a few candidates. First, a tall man I ran into in Kishidanbari Park. I asked him for directions, trying to probe him a little, but he turned the questions right back around on me. He was out of there the second he figured I wasn't what he was looking for. I got the sense curses were nothing new to him. I'm about 40% sure he's a curse bearer. He isn't. We checked him. He's not. Then there's this middle-aged guy I saw in the South Wigashu Street. There's no question about this one. He had the curse stones in his hand. He had a nervous air about him, too. It was clear he was up to some shady business. Gathering soul drugs, I bet. He'd make a good target. Next up is a pair, a young woman and a man I saw around Ryoko Bridge. This time, the man came up and asked me flat out if I was a curse bearer. I told him I didn't know what he was talking about, and he backpedaled and left. It looks like they lurk around there often. Looking for kindred spirits would be my guess. Though it didn't seem like they were quite working as a pair. Gathering soul dregs in a group might be a decent idea if you can make it work. But with things how they are, it's gotta be hard to find folks one can trust. They got brass, though. I don't know what their deal is, but I'd like to find out. The last is the 2 detectives I've seen sniffing around. The police are involved? Not necessarily. A body turned up in a local park just a few days ago, so they might just be looking into that. Still, the park's got ties to one of the 7 mysteries. Might it be a curse that did the guy in? And if they're sending in detectives from the head office, then something's got to be up. How do you know where they're from? Let's just say, when you're in this business, there are some faces you get to know. Anyway, that's everyone who's caught my eye. You found them all in so little time? I really did hire the best. It's all in the name, man. Richard P.I. No, wait. Make that Richard Kai, investigator extraordinaire. My, an investigator extraordinaire. Is that why you can dress like that without drawing attention to yourself? You bet. An investigator extraordinaire can blend in like a chameleon in any outfit. Well, that aside, the middle-aged man and the young couple sound like the most promising, am I right? Whichever we pick, it's still too early to make a move. It seems like the curse bearers are less involved with each other than we thought. Plus, there's still others we don't know about. I say we hang fire and see how things play out. Once more bodies start showing up, that'll get the pot nice and hot. And once it's boiling, our chance will come. Didn't you want to tell me something? I've already said everything I want to say. Standing around is the last thing I want to be doing right now. This is my only chance to bring back my son. I can't afford to let it fritter it away. The Sumida River. The water is filthy and horrid, but at night, when it's still, it looks almost peaceful. Can I ask you something, ma'am? Is the Sumida River what you Honjo folks picture when you think of home? I couldn't say. All I can tell you is that I can hardly stand the sight of it. Right. Should have guessed. This is where they found him after he went missing. All alone, floating in that horrible water. All I can think is how scared he must have been. How cold he must have been. What did he ever do to deserve something so awful? I've come here every day since then. And I prayed to the river to give him back. To give me my son back. Day after day. You know, in olden times, people believed rivers marked where our world would meet next. So the act of crossing flowing water had a huge amount of spiritual significance. Back when Edo was founded, the people of Chao saw the Sumida River the same way. They associated the far side of the river with the afterlife. That same place would later become Honjo. All that fear and revulsion accumulated there and took root. But then, the Rika Bridge sprang up after the Great Fire of Mireki, and just like that, Honjo was part of the city too. And as it turned from farmland into a town, the people surrounded it with man-made rivers and crisscrossed it with canals and waterways. Weren't those to prevent flooding? That's what I was told. They were, but that's not all they were for. There were other purposes to contain all the corruption that had built up on the far shore, to stop it leaking through to our side of the Great Divide. Officially, they were a physical barrier, but unofficially, they were a spiritual one too. So if I have this right, are you saying that Honjo is a place where the real world meets the afterlife? Exactly. That's why the rite of resurrection is here rather than anywhere else, I'm sure of it. And it's probably why the 7 mysteries and their curses have survived to modern day. And I guess that would make this spot we're standing right now, right over the water, the border between life and death. If there was ever a place where bringing back the dead might be possible, I reckon it's here. It's funny that you mentioned praying to the river. That might have done you more than you think. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Just thinking aloud, ma'am. Well, it's a nice thought. Can we, like... We're on the bridge. There's a highway. They're both deserted. Oh, that's right. There's one more memory I have left of this river. Do you mind if I tell you?
Go ahead.
It must have been about 20 years now when I was still a schoolgirl. Back then, the Sumida River was much filthier than it is now. It was full of garbage and industrial discharge. It was scummy and slimy. It stank. You could look over at the water and see dead cats and dogs and pigeons just floating. And one day, among all that filth and garbage, there was a piece of my missing classmate's hand.
That was a thing to tell someone. What?
It was almost a miracle when you could stop and think about it. What were the chances that someone would find a part of her that was still recognizable? And although everything but the palm had rotted away in the water, the part that was left would have an identifiable scar, and that they would tell it had been a murder from the blade marks on the bone.
Wait, are you talking about the Nijima murders?
So you've heard of it. I'm impressed. I assume you were but an elementary schooler at the time.
I wasn't really aware of it then. I only heard about it after the fact. I had no idea the victim was a classmate of yours.
The Nijima murders, a notorious case from over 2 decades ago involving the murder of a female high school student. It first came to the attention of the authorities when part of a human left hand was discovered floating in the Sumida River. Testing it revealed it belonged to a missing female high school student. As it appeared to have been severed deliberately, the police launched a murder investigation. The large-scale search of the river was organized, but the highly polluted state of the water made this impossible. Visibility was poor, the stench was immense, and the divers quickly fell ill. They succeeded in recovering only the victim's head and what appeared to be part of her leg before the search was called off. At the time of the incident, the Sumida River was polluted as it had ever been. Neither the fish nor shellfish could survive it, eventually causing the annual fireworks festival to be called off indefinitely. Over the course of the search, the police had discovered a number of unidentified human bones. This caused a stir among the public, as several other young women had gone missing in recent years in the Tokyo area, and it was feared that they may have fallen victim to the same fate. Forensic technologies at the time, however, were not advanced enough to determine the identities of the deceased, and so the police were unable to open any inquiries. Due to the overwhelming lack of circumstantial evidence, the investigation ground to a halt until Hiroto, unrelated individual, came to his attention. During the questioning about the separate incident, Fumichika Nejimi, a 36-year-old shop owner with no relation to the victim, divulged details about her that had never been released to the general public. An investigation into his background was conducted, leading to his arrest. Nejima testified that he had snatched his victim from the street and confined her in the underground storeroom of his shop, which also served as his living quarters. He chose her for no special reason, but simply decided she was an opportune target to see on her walking alone at night. After keeping her locked up for several days, he restrained her, sewed her mouth shut, and severed her fingers and toes with a box cutter while she was still conscious. As she screamed silently behind her sealed lips, he proceeded to her wrist, her ankles, her elbows, her knees, working his way up inward slowly and methodically. His victim constantly wavered in and out of consciousness. Her ordeal continued until she died of blood loss. The Nejima dismembered the rest of her body and disposed of it behind his home in the Sumida River before cleaning his storeroom and returning to his everyday routine as if nothing had happened. The brutality of his actions shocked the nation when they were eventually reported. Once apprehended, Nejima readily divulged the details of the murder, but was less willing to explain his motive. When asked why, he would only break down in tears, saying, "I don't know what came over me. I know it was wrong." In the end, the police could extract nothing from him more than expressions of remorse. Although the efficiency of his methods strongly suggested that he committed similar crimes in the past, no corroborating evidence ever came to life. Nejima was sentenced to life in prison at his first hearing. The sentence was imposed with no appeal from the defendant.
So that was a lot.
The man who made headlines over 2 years ago as the perpetrator of the breeding killings known as the Nejima murder. He made his choices. They weren't good choices, but they were his.
To be honest, it was all a bit of a blur. A wave of chaos just parting around me. Something like that. They said the rest of her body must have sunk to the bottom of the river. They combed the river, but they only ever found pieces. Everything else must have rotted and flowed out to sea. Afterwards, I heard that all the divers who had been looking for her fell ill. A sorry story for everyone involved, huh?
It's funny. Everyone figures the river's filthy already, so one more piece of garbage won't hurt. But every little bit makes it worse. It's a vicious cycle. I know I wouldn't want to go rooting around down there myself.
That's right, which is why the riverbed is the last place anyone would go looking. Or so was the killer's thinking, I suppose. The times were changing quickly back then. Things were confusing. Everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Young people were moving to Tokyo in droves. Some even ran away from home to make it in the big city. And they made easy targets for bad people. A lot of them ended up disappearing without a trace. You see, back then, if you chopped up a body into tiny pieces and threw it in the river, it would rot quickly and discreetly and sink to the bottom, never to be seen again.
Are you saying what I think you're saying? Ma'am? Ma'am? Are you about to confess to a murder?
They arrested him shortly after. The man who killed my classmate and cut her into pieces. He was so methodical about it, it couldn't have been his first crime. And people began to wonder how many other girls he'd murdered the same way. The police never found any evidence of the other murders in the end. But the river knows the truth. How many corpses has it swallowed up over the years, I wonder? That same thought spread through everyone's mind, and they started to avoid this area. So really, this river has been rank with corruption for decades now. Or at least, that's how it seems to me. Well,
was that interesting? No, that was horrifying! Well, I can see why you don't have any good memories of this river. I mean, she found a dead classmate in it. It's where her fucking son's dead body was found. With all the darkness lurking beneath the surface, there's no reason that you would. Still, if I may, man, I'm surprised you know so much about the Nejima murders.
How could I not? After all, I was the one who found the hand. The police actually wrote me a thank you letter. They said it was only thanks to me that they managed to bring Nejima to justice. That was the only time my father ever said he was proud of me.
Your dad sounds like a dick. Huh. I guess it wasn't just the killer's day.
Sometimes I wonder if he resents me for it. The river. I have nothing but awful memories of it. Is there something wrong?
Not really. It just struck me it's been 20 years since the Nejima murders.
So it has?
Not to spook you or anything, but I thought you might be interested in knowing. Life in prison doesn't always mean life. There's a precedent for first-time offenders being allowed out on parole after 20 years. Only if they're found to show remorse and desire to reform themselves, of course. This man kidnapped a teenage girl and cut her into pieces. Fucking prick's lucky he didn't get the electric chair. And there's talk of letting that guy out on parole after only 20 years? He murdered a teenage girl. He took the rest of her life away from her. He doesn't get to just walk away after 20 years because he felt bad.
That's right. I'm impressed you know so much. Still, it's hard for someone with a criminal record to reintegrate into society.
I hear they've been trying to fix that recently, matching inmates with jobs and accommodation.
Oh, really?
They keep an eye on them, of course, and make them report in for regular checkups. But to avoid discrimination, they keep the inmates' records a secret from everyone but their employers. They even give particularly notorious criminals new identities so they won't be recognized in the workplace.
My. The way you put it. It's like you're saying Fumichika Nejimi could be out on parole right now. Back in society, under a new name, with nobody any the wiser.
It's possible. As it happens, a little birdie told me about a big name making parole a few months back. I don't know if that was Nejima, but our discussion just now did bring it to mind.
I see. How unsettling. Now that you mention it, I just remembered something too.
What was it?
I was passing Komagata High School a little while ago when I saw someone. A janitor, I think, and I could have sworn he reminded me of Fumichika Nejima.
Oh?
He looked a little different after 20 years. Much thinner than I remember, too. I told myself I was just seeing things. But perhaps
it was him after all. Oh, so you give the guy who liked murdering teenage girls a job where he has access to teenage girls. Real smooth move. Yeah, great idea.
So, what's next?
The big question now is what the rest of the curse bearers are up to. Luckily, the Sumida River is a good distance from any of the 7 mysteries. It's unlikely any other curse bearers will come all the way out here. I can finally have a moment to think.
I see. All right.
Suspend? You cannot currently progress any further. Once your situation has changed, select resume to try again. Pressing suspend will return you to the story chart. Okay, so that's all we can do with her right now. She's basically waiting for one of the other protags to do something. Why is Yako's yellow? Like, it's not... Hers blue, because we were playing it. His is grayed out. Hers is yellow. Did something happen with hers? Yako Sakazaki searches for the rite of resurrection, hoping to revive her friend who jumped to her death. To get information she needs, she meets with her classmate Mio Kurozuzu in their classroom at midnight, attempting to use a spirit board. She was friends with the girl who witnessed the kidnapping. And she's the one she wants to bring back to life.
That should be everything. Okay, let's start. Ready for this, Yako?
I'm ready. Okay, I'm ready. Yako Sakazaki, female, high school student. Yako is a student in Class 2C at Komagata High School. Unable to comprehend why her childhood friend and classmate Michio Shirayashi committed suicide, she attempted to investigate the incident herself. However, she was unable to make any progress and, feeling desperate, invited the transfer student Mio Kurozuzu to join her in performing the spiritual board ritual. Born and raised in Honjo, Sumida City, Yako's family has owned and operated a beloved candy stop cinema since its establishment in the early Showa era. Despite her modest appearance, Yako is a cheerful and vivacious young woman with a sense of duty and compassion so strong that she is easily moved to tears. She's also a bit quick-tempered and quarrelsome, always prepared to stand up against those who harm her family or friends. It is possible, however, this readiness to fight is more driven by an innate love of chaos. Yako's winning streak against arrogant boys and scraps since she was a child remains unbroken and is the source of considerate stress for her mother.
Alright, let's start. This is the spirit board. This is how we'll be communicating. First, we'll both put a finger on the 10 yen coin that's on the board. Like this. Just like that. Relax your finger as much as you can. Now for the chant. Repeat what I say, okay? Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Board, please visit us. Your turn.
Spectre of the Spirit Board. Oh. Spectre of the Spirit Board. Please visit us.
Spectre of the Spirit Board, please, Spectre of the Spirit Board, please visit us. Good. Please tell us if you are there.
Yes.
Whoa, it really moved. Looks like we succeeded in the summoning. We can ask questions now. Right, questions. Start with the question you know the answer to and see the response. Then, when you know your questions are being answered truthfully, you ask what you really want to know.
Okay, I'll start with something simple. What is my name?
I think it should know the answer to this.
Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Board, what is my name?
Huh?
What's the matter?
How strange.
Huh? It told me no!
I bet it means it doesn't know. It may be the Spectre of the Spirit Board, but it doesn't know everything.
Is this spirit really the real deal? Yes.
It's fine.
I feel like it's giving me— oh god, a bicycle! I feel like it's giving me attitude. What is this place? Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Board, where are we? H-I-G-H. High. Oh, it's spelling out high school. High school. High school! That's right!
The answer doesn't seem to be very precise.
Is it really you? Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Boards, are you truly the Spectre of the Spirit Board? No? Huh? It's saying no? Is it lying?
Not quite. The Spectre of the Spirit Board is just a temporary name we call them when using the board. We're actually calling the spirit with a strong tie to this place, or one of the people participating. In other words, a spirit that just happened to be nearby just felt like answering. They don't really think of themselves as the Spectre of the Spirit Board.
Oh, really? Huh, feels like some kind of mystique has disappeared. Do you mind if I still call you the Spectre of the Spirit Board? Yes? Okay. Thanks.
Always good to remember to say please and thank you.
The Spirit Board. What is this girl's name? Fine. What is the name of the girl across from me? Mio. That's right. That's not fair. It knows your name, Mio.
It even used that weird character you used to spell your name. How flattering. Psychic girl, Mio Kurozuzu. Mio transferred to Class 2C at Komagata High School about 2 months ago. Though she is an extremely mild-mannered young woman, she exudes a somewhat off-putting dark aura which makes it difficult for her to form friendships. Mio, however, has found a friend in her classmate Yako Sasazaki and has begun opening up to her little by little. The truth of the matter is that Mio is the apprentice of a famous psychic. Possessing exceptional spirit sense, she takes on the troublesome task of super assistantly handling spiritual discrepancies that break out in the schools across Tokyo before they become a problem. She transfers schools frequently as a result, and thus has trouble making human friends. Mio has already solved an incident in Komagata High School involving a female student possessed by a spirit. Although she takes effort to hide her spirit sense, many develop an impression that Mio has a deep knowledge of the occult and the paranormal upon first meeting her, leading to her to be anxious that her secrets have been exposed. The most common comment she receives is that she seems to get along well with crows and black cats. I bet even the teachers get it wrong all the time. I guess these paranormal beings just tend to take a liking to you. I don't know how I should feel about that. I'll ask again. What is my name? It didn't even hesitate this time. Alright, it's time to try asking a serious question. Yeah. Michio's cause of death. Okay, here I go. I'll be serious now. Yes, please. Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Board. Did Michio Shirashi in our class, who died by committing suicide by jumping 1 week ago, really commit suicide? No! Oh, shit. Oh, shit. So it really wasn't. I'm not surprised. I never believed it from the start. Now's the important part. Yeah. Michio Shirashi. Michio was a second-year student at Komagata High School. She was found deceased 1 week ago in the back alley off South Wagosu Street, her entire body broken and severely contorted. Police determined that Michio committed suicide by jumping from a nearby apartment building, and there was no suicide note. The police based their conclusion on interviews with Michio's peers. Michio was an honors student with a good head on her shoulders and consistently excellent grades, making her a favorite among teachers. Although she appeared somewhat reserved, she had a positive outlook on life and a courageous spirit. Michio and Yako formed a long-lasting friendship during childhood, with Yako's unbending, uncompromising attitude deeply influencing Michio. However, beneath her strong exterior, Michio had been pushing herself too hard and keeping her emotions bottled up to the point that they risked overflowing. Following her father's death 3 years ago and moving to a new house, Michio began avoiding Yako. Although the two remained in the same area of town and attended the same high school, they gradually grew further apart. Yako herself worried about her childhood friend, but incapable of wading into the complexities of Michio's home life, kept her distance. The days passed, and though Michio longed to confess everything to Yako, the moment to do so never came. Michio carried an old talisman, a memento of her father, with her at all times. I think the teacher fucking killed her. Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Board. Did Michio Shirashi die in an accident? Yes. It said yes. So it was an accident, not a suicide. Michio. Then, did she slip and fall from the apartment building? No. Huh? She didn't? What do you mean? Michio didn't die falling from the apartment building? Yes. No way. Oh my god, I think the teacher killed her and then dumped her body off the roof of the building so that the police would think it was a suicide and that it was the fall that killed her. If that were true, then why was she lying on the ground like that in the back alley of the apartment building? It was an accident, but not a fall. Oh, Spectre of the Spirit Board, what happened to Michio on that day? It seems like it doesn't know the details.
Where is the rite of resurrection? Then how about, O Spectre of the Spirit Board, we want to use the rite of resurrection to bring Michio back. Do you know where the rite of resurrection is?
I wonder.
Oh, we fucked up. We fucked up. Oh, shit! This is why you don't fuck with spirits! What? What is this? Stop! I'm scared! Miho! Calm down! You can't let go before it's over! Ah! Such deep sorrow. A resentful memory flowing into my mind. Fool's procession. Those who hear it shall fall into the depths of hell. Kill them. Kill them. Those who hear this sound. Kill them all. You have acquired the cursed stone, the Fool's Procession. You can use it to kill those who hear the sound produced by the curse echo for more than 30 seconds. The effect will be negated if you are seen in that time. Press use curse button to produce the sound. A mysterious tale regaling the encounter held by Damo at his residence in Hanshima. When walking around at his estate, he heard the sound of music, much like that of the Kagura performance. He commanded people to find the source, but no matter how much they searched, the music would fade when the one neared the canal. The source of the sound was never located. This story is also known as the possession of Tanuki, as many were believed that it must have been mischievous tricksters behind it. Kills a cursed power. Kills a fatal fall, one who hears its music for 30 seconds without seeing the curse bearer. Omio stood at the rooftop of the tall festival tower. It was her time to shine, and she was ecstatic. It had been a year since she joined the troupe, but she had yet to enjoy her day in the spotlight. She wasn't particularly pretty, nor was she all that talented. As a gossip and a loudmouth, she wasn't well liked by her peers. Some of the other girls thought of her as a teacher's pet and bullied her. I don't care about them, she thought. I'll use this chance to make something of myself. Everything was perfect. She wore a beautiful, beautiful kimono and an okame mask over her face. The stage was set. The accompaniment began. She danced with everything she had. Applause rained down upon her from the crowd. Her breathing hastened with excitement. I've got to catch my breath. That's strange. I can't take my mask off. The smell of glue assaulted her nostrils. So that's how it is. I knew it was too good to be true. Her screams were drowned out by the music as she squirmed and struggled. Amio is giving it her all today. We have to keep up. The crowd livened even more. No, please, someone help me. She fell from the tower, writhing in pain, as she begged those around for help. The music stopped in time with Omio's heart. A murderous impulse seeps into my soul like thick black tar. Now. Kill. Can you hear it, Curse Bearer? You who so strongly desires the right. Kill them. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be right back. La da da. Okay, I'm back. Back to the murder game. 2 things to remember. Summary of previous events. The information they gained from the spirit board suggests Michio's death was not a suicide. When they continue to press the spirit board for a location of the Rite of Resurrection, a curse echo suddenly appears. 1 week ago. Did you hear about Michio in Class C? Yeah, she seemed like the stereotypical honor student in her first year, but she stopped showing up to class and her grades started dropping after the 3rd semester. So she offed herself because her grades were bad? No fair. Just thinking about practice tests makes me want to die too. All anyone cares about is test scores and grades. What is there for us to do here? Oh god, we're trapped. If we die in a flashback, do we die in real life? Hey, did you hear? Someone from our school committed suicide. Wait, really? Who? I heard that Michio from Class C, right? No way. Michio? She's been acting pretty strangely lately, but I still can't believe it. Do you know, I hear Michio's mom remarried last year. They say her stepdad is a total jerk. Really? How so? Like he'd peek on her while she changes and couldn't keep his hands off her. I even heard he's an ex-con. If she resists him, he gets violent. That's so scary. No way, I couldn't take that. I'd probably think about killing myself too if I had to deal like someone like that at home. Where are the police? You hear about suicides on the news, but for it to happen here, it's a little scary. By the way, isn't there a girl who transferred into Class C recently? Oh, I heard about her. She's gloomy and doesn't stand out much. Did you know that the school she was at before she transferred also had a suicide? What, for real? That seems like kind of fishy. There might be something some of you already know, but a member of our class, Michio Shirashi, passed away last night. Okay, calm down. I know this comes as a surprise, but please keep quiet. The cause of death is still under investigation, and there's nothing we know for certain at this moment. Detailed investigation reports will come from the police, so please don't go spreading any rumors, got it? We're going to be sending everyone home for today. No dilly-dallying on your way. School will be off for tomorrow as well. Hey you, stop celebrating. Show some respect. There will be a memorial service scheduled next week at the school assembly, if anyone wishes to pay their respects individually. Oh, he did it. He did it. We gotta kill him. Yako? Sorry to bug you. It's just, you seem a little different from your usual self. I hope I'm not being nosy. Thanks, Mio. But, thanks, Mio. Was I acting strangely? Yeah, enough to make me worry. If you want to talk, I'm happy to listen. Yeah, this is perfect timing. There's actually something I want to ask. Yeah? About the Rite of Resurrection. Hey, Mio? You know about the Rite of Resurrection, right? Yeah, it's that thing Mr. Arashi apparently discovered and wrote an article about. I doubt there's that many people who don't know. He's always talking about it. Why is she doing the duck lips now? Do you believe it's real? Huh? Well, it sounds a little too good to be true to me. But on the off chance it could really work, we could bring Michio back to life with it. I want to find it, even if there's the slightest chance of bringing Michio back.
But how would you look for it?
Right, that's the thing. You know the Spectre of the Spirit Board thing that everyone's been doing? Where you summon a spirit and ask it wherever you want?
Yeah, I know about it.
I want to try it out. There's something I want to know.
Why are you telling me this?
I mean, you seem like the type to know about this stuff.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you look like you're really into that occult stuff. You know, you got that kind of gloomy look. I don't know if I should feel about that. But you know how to do it, right?
Well, yes, I probably know a little more than most.
Okay, please help me. You're my only hope.
Michio, I wonder why she had to die. She didn't leave a note or anything, but they announced it was a suicide.
That can't be right. She would never kill herself. Michio was so happy, and she always looked on the bright side of things. She loved coming to school. I know she was going through some hard times, but for her to kill herself?
I never got a chance to speak with her. She was often absent from school, and when she did come in, she looked depressed.
You're right. That's what everyone says. She was so willing to... That's why everyone was so willing to accept that she committed suicide. They acted like they cared, but all they did was gossip about it. They put together little pieces of information and spread rumors like it's the truth. Isn't that terrible?
It is.
I've heard some that are really awful. In the end, the only reason they're able to say stuff like that is because they aren't personally involved. It's true that she didn't get along with her new stepdad and her grades went down. But to say things like, how sad, no wonder she killed herself, how dare they? She always told me she was okay whenever I talked with her because I was worried. She would have told me if there was something bothering her so badly she'd kill herself over it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, please help me. You're my only hope. I won't let Michio's death be written off like this. Like maybe she got caught up in something bad.
Something bad?
People have been talking about that body found in the former Yasuda Gardens, right? Some are saying that this town is cursed or something.
Yes, there has been a strange feeling around things recently. The thing you want to ask.
Yeah, I want to know about the truth behind Michio's death and where the rite of resurrection is hidden.
I see.
I don't know if getting involved as the answer to those questions will be easy as you hope. Please, the teachers and police aren't any help. There's only so much I can do alone. If there's even the slightest chance, then...
Well... Okay, if that would make you feel better, then I'll help.
Yes, thank you, Mio.
Okay then, tomorrow after dark.
I mean, they were having serious conversations about the suicide of a classmate, and it was so hard for me to take seriously because that girl was making fucking duck lips. Notes on Michio Shirashi. Case notes regarding the suicide of Michio Shirashi, Kamega High School, Class 2C. Body discovered 1 week ago. Died from full-body blunt force trauma in an alley off the South Wegartsu Street. Believed to have fallen from the roof in a nearby apartment complex. The deceased parents had recently remarried, and rumors among the students suggest physical abuse by her stepfather. May constitute motive for a suicide. Huh? Ah, are you awake, Yako? Yeah, what happened?
You can't remember?
Let's see, we used the spirit board and... I suddenly heard something like this weird voice. And then I passed out?
Yes, as far as I can tell, you aren't experiencing any negative effects. I think it was just a mild shock from how sudden it was.
Huh. Ah!
to leave. More importantly, what is that thing you have in your hand?
Huh? In my hand? Whoa! The heck is this thing? It looks so freaky. When did I get it? Curse stone acquired.
Oh, there's so much anger and hatred held within it. It looks like the tools that were used for the ancient curses.
What? That's so scary.
Yako, you did just say you heard a strange voice, right? Could you tell me what you heard? Anything you recall? I think it might be connected to that object.
Huh, let's see. It felt like I was at the bottom of a dark place. Then this voice felt like it was echoing in my mind. After that, it just kept shouting, "Kill them."
I see. Thank you. Yako, I think you may have exactly what you need in order to use the rite of resurrection. A curse with the power to take people's lives and turn them into soul dregs.
What? You mean this is a real curse? I know I said I wanted to use the rite of resurrection to bring back Michio, but why? Why me? It makes no sense.
Yako, please calm down and listen.
Yeah? I'm sorry about panicking.
No, it's okay. Fear is something we feel in the face of the unknown. Long ago, people would give names to phenomena they couldn't understand in order to live with them. However, modern-day developments in science and culture have pushed for the rejection of things that can't be measured. And so the paranormal has been treated like it doesn't exist. But they've been around since a long, long time ago. If you just understand, you can see that there's nothing to be afraid of. First, calming down is the most important. Accept reality for what it is.
We're in a weird ghost-haunted death game. Huh? I only really give this stuff a shot because it was popular, but you really do have a connection with this stuff, don't you?
Well, I suppose to an extent.
Hey, Mio, what do I do? Where do I start? Am I cursed? Am I going to die? Oh, you already did once, honey. I am so sorry about that.
It's okay. I'll take care of the curse. That's why I'm here in the first place.
What? Again with the fucking duck lips! God!
Trust me. I'll take care of things. It'll be all right.
Thanks. I was the one who dragged you along to do the spirits board.
It's fine. You're desperate to find a way to try and help your friend. But spirit boards are dangerous. You have to take them seriously. I'm so glad you invited me. All right, let's review what we've learned so far and think of how to move forward.
Okay? About the curse. What is this curse?
Well, I've only looked into it a little, but I wouldn't quite say you're cursed. It's more like you've gained the ability to use the power of a curse. So there shouldn't be any kind of negative paranormal effect on you.
The power to use a curse? Do you mean this curse stone?
Yes. If the curse stone is used under certain conditions, a curse will be placed on someone, taking their life and turning it into soul dregs. Soul dregs are said to be required to enact the rite of resurrection. Normally, a curse is a spell that would only be able to be usable by omyoji of considerable talent. I believe that the curse stone makes it so that even normal people can use them. The mysterious voice said the curse stone is called the Fool's Procession, right?
Yeah, from the 7 Mysteries of Hanjo. Our school is said to be connected with a story with the same name, one of the mysteries.
Right. I don't think it's a coincidence. This is just a guess, but it's possible that you were chosen because it could feel your desire for the rite of resurrection.
So someone like me with no knowledge could curse someone.
Yes, but it's nothing to take lightly. You could end up having it redirected right at you. To tell the truth, something unusual did happen while we were using the spirit board. It happened right around midnight, I think. The whole area seems to be under the effect of the Feast of Sorrows.
The Feast of Sorrows?
Yes, it's a type of spell that temporarily boosts the potency for the supernatural. It also has the effect of making powers of certain curses' echoes manifest more easily. Judging by its strength, I'd say it probably covers about 3 to 4 kilometer radius. 3 to 4 kilometers? That's big enough to cover all of Sumida City. Yes, I think the Feast of Shadows was used to cause resentment lingering in the area to manifest its curse stones. Someone did this.
But who?
I don't know enough to say, but it's likely that it was done by someone who wants to uncover the rite of resurrection. This isn't something to happen naturally.
I see. The Feast of Shadows. Oh, it's gonna be a rough night. About the rite of resurrection.
But Mio, yes? If this curse is real, that means I could bring back Michio if I used it right. The rite of resurrection would be real too. Yes, that's true. But you can't do that, Yako.
But
it feels like not the time to worry about that kind of stuff. If Michio died in an accident, then I'm sure she didn't want to die. What's the issue with putting a little curse on a complete stranger? I sort of feel like it wouldn't be a big deal. What's going on with you? You're not acting like yourself, Yako. You would never consider taking the life of another person. Is it the curse's influence on you? Maybe the curse's echo's grudge is rubbing off on you. Will you show it to me for a second? Is there something inside it? No, stop! Yako, I'm sorry. But it's like, I just suddenly really don't want you to touch it. I understand. I'm sorry. But you need to give up on the rite of resurrection.
what?
Because that's the real curse. Using the resurrection is a lure. It tempts curse bearers into using their curses. You have to resist it. Don't let yourself be deceived by some curse. But Michio could. I think for tonight we should get you home to rest. I'll walk you. The curse's influence should subside in the morning. Okay.
I mean, when Shogo collected all the soul dregs and was going to cast the rite of resurrection to bring back Yoko, he died. So
the curse's stone's power can only be used in this area under the influence of the Feast of Shadows. The effects also only appear after the sun has set. By setting a limit on when they can be used, the curses are strengthened.
So the curses can't be used outside this area or during the day?
Correct. But speaking of limits, to actually use a curse to kill someone, it seems there are conditions that need to be met.
Conditions? You mean like how my curse echo needs someone to listen to the sound it makes for 30 seconds? To be honest, I don't really understand it.
Like, how do I even summon the curse echo or make the sound?
Do I just will it? Do you mind if I try?
Stop! You shouldn't be using curses so willy-nilly. Even if there are conditions that have to be met, the power to kill someone without leaving behind evidence is dangerous enough. In that sense, maybe you really have been cursed. I'm sorry that you got wrapped up in this situation even though I'm here with you. That curse stone, I think whoever holds it becomes a curse bearer. It would probably be for the best for me to hold on to it, but then I'd feel bad about forcing it on you. No, I sense a powerful force rejecting me. I don't think I'd be able to take it.
Really? Why? If we tried separating it from you, the curse may trigger. That's how bad I sense it wants to stay with you.
No way. That curse stone might look like nothing more than an old Netsuki carving. but I can sense a powerful, resentful energy from it. I don't think it's a good idea for me to even touch it. I may seem like I know what I'm doing, but I don't know how to handle something this powerful. Really? This little thing? If you threw it away and someone with bad ideas picked it up, it could be bad. I think it would be safer to avoid the risk of getting anyone else involved and have you hold on to it for now.
Well, now I'm kind of freaked out.
Anyway, we need to make it to daybreak. I think the curse should weaken once it's morning. I'll help you find a way to deal with it then.
Okay.
So there are 2 things you should remember. First, do not fulfill the conditions while it's night. Second, should you happen to fulfill the conditions, don't use the curse.
Right.
If this is a curse of the 7 mysteries of Hanjo, then it's possible that there are others who received the curses associated with other mysteries.
Yeah, that voice also said there are other curse bearers, or whatever you called them.
Not only that, apparently you can get a lot of soul dregs by killing a curse bearer. Right, that's certainly not good. Even if we have no intention of killing others with the curse, there's a chance you may be targeted if the other curse bearers find us.
Eep!
We'll have to avoid anyone who has another one of the curses. That means we should avoid people at night as much as possible.
Just go home!
I'm sorry, but I'm telling you that you need to give up the right. It's beyond us. Even a single curse stone alone is too much to handle. Bringing back the dead isn't something so simple. I know how much it hurts, but please focus on just worrying about surviving tonight. Even now, we're in great danger. Okay, let's get going then, shall we? We'll take the same route we took to get here. Right. We'll be fine, right? There's no one else at school, is there? I think so. The night shift janitor shouldn't be patrolling this late at night either.
Ah!
What? Why did the lights go out?
Mio, are you okay? Mio? Is anyone there? Oh, motherfucker! Oh no, what was that? Get out of here! Get me out of here, Mio! Mio, where are you? Yako, I'm here! Over here, can you see me? Huh? Where? I can't see anything. Oh god. There you are, Mio!
This way, over here! Be careful, your field of vision is being limited.
Right. Oh god, that gave me the chills. Oh god. Oh, that one really got to me. I'm gonna take a break for today. It's been 2 hours, let's call that it. I'll be streaming this game again next Sunday at 12. I'll be streaming Ghost Trick Wednesday at 7. I might do a Persona 5 stream if I have the time, but there's no set schedule for that yet. Hope everyone had a good time. And until next time, show's over!